If you're watching this video, chances are you're a little like me. I love me some Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk Curated is a series of videos covering interesting games that emit the cyberpunk vibe, either aesthetically or mechanically. Hopefully both. Today I would like to talk about VA-11 Hall A, or Valhalla if you're not an android. Valhalla is a cyberpunk-themed game where you play as a bartender in a retro 16-bit aesthetic. Does this game exude the cyberpunk vibe we know and love and immerse us into the gritty underbelly of the city? Or does this game devolve into a talking simulator with a dull minigame attached? Let's find out in this episode of Cyberpunk Curated. The idea of a cyberpunk bartending simulator is genius in my book. You could tell tons of stories through characters showing up for a drink, all the while handling the day-to-day grind, like a futuristic Cheers show. You play Jill through her day-to-day life at her apartment and her job. The intro of the game sets up a large-scale and interesting cyberpunk premise, but you play the role of a lowly bartender in a dive bar named Valhalla. The graphics are retro-styled like you see in an SNES or early VGA game, but it is all very well crafted. The sprites and backgrounds look like they were ripped straight from a high-quality 1994 game, but the character close-ups have a distinct anime-like look. The sound effects are minimal, but there are dozens of quality songs to queue up in the bar's jukebox, and I recommend doing so. I was quite impressed with how wide of a selection there was. If you like retro game music or chiptunes, you'd probably enjoy the soundtrack for this game. There is no voice acting, however. Prepare to click on the dialog box. A lot. About 90% of the gameplay is clicking to continue to the next line of dialogue. There are no choices during the dialogue, and the only way you can affect the conversation is through the drink mixing screen, where you are given a recipe book of various drinks and 5 base components you can work with. There are a couple binary variables such as aging, ice, and blending, but in the end this is a very simple puzzle minigame, and usually the drink the customer wants is stated up front, though their requests get a bit more vague, so you may have some guesswork later on. This game essentially plays like many interactive novels you would find on Steam or other platforms such as Hatoful Boyfriend, with the exception of substantial choice. The topics of conversation range from clickbait, prostitution, talking corgi dogs, video streamers, human augmentation, and others. It is hard to pinpoint the quality of the characters and their stories, as this is all very subjective. I found it functional, but let's just say I wouldn't exactly run out and buy Valhalla in novel form. Short segments between your workday include smartphone surfing, shopping, and a semblance of money management where you will need to pay rent or buy items Jill desires. As a job simulator, it is mechanically similar to the respected Papers, Please. In that game, you play an immigration officer who checks migrants' IDs and documents. The difference between that game and Valhalla, though, is that the amount of mechanics and pitfalls is always increasing, and there are moral choices and other dynamics at play. The core mechanics of mixing a drink stay the same in Valhalla, and only alter dialogue and endings somewhat. There is no time limit, no failure state to speak of, and no tension really. This game is made or broken on how well the writing holds up to you. Some may not resonate with the characters or dialogue, but I've heard that many have gotten emotionally attached to the characters. If you're of the former group, Valhalla is absolutely not for you, as it offers little beyond the dialogue and writing. To the latter, if you dig the dialogue shown here in this video, you may find a lot to love, despite its anemic game mechanics. In my arbitrary rating scale, I give Valhalla 3 Robo-Corgis out of 5. The game reminds me of a modernized version of the urban levels of Flashback from 1992, but with beautifully realized backgrounds and environments that are a marvel to look at. Seriously, the level artists in this game deserve some major kudos. The atmosphere you get from the gritty slums of Chinatown to the sleazy neon-drenched red light district. The static visuals are amazing.